Welcome to today's episode of CLCI Live, brought to you by the award-winning and ICF accredited school, Certified Life Coach Institute. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
Hi, everybody out there in TV land. Hello. In Facebook and YouTube, etc. land. We're back. CLCI Live is back. Yay! Everybody's here. Woohoo! And as you can see, today's topic is coaches, have you failed? What I'm going to do is turn it over to Jerome right now, and we'll let Jerome get some folks introduced and get going. And I'll be right back.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I think you know most of us here, but we do have a couple special guests here that I want to give a second to so that they can go ahead and introduce themselves. Nicole, if you would, go ahead and just introduce yourself for a second.
I'm Nicole. You said that part. I'm located in Maryland, and I'm a life coach. Got a couple kids under my belts. I'm also a portrait photographer.
Alrighty. And now next up, special guest, Jeree.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeree Crowder. I am a life coach. Just completed my level 2 training, career federal civilian, and looking forward to stepping out on coaching full time. I have 2 adult daughters and 4 amazing grandchildren. Thanks.
Nice. Welcome, both of you. Congratulations. Thank you.
And you know what? I
Thank
think
you.
Dan would be considered a special guest because he's not here all that often, but we will make sure that changes this year. So we'll see a lot more of Dan, but we'll give him a sec to introduce himself.
Hi, yes, I will be here more often because my Tuesday client has now moved to another day, so it works perfectly. Hi, I'm Dan Alex. I'm the lead facilitator trainer with Certified Life Coach Institute, and when I'm not teaching, I coach dead people.
Go straight to the graveyard.
By the way, I love that. Yeah, I love that. So to get started, our topic today is coaches have failed. Now I know that you guys may, Nicole, you may not at this point feel like failures, and we're not here to make you feel like you are.
Oh, yes, that is.
Let's do it.
But there's a lot of issues with regard to coaches when they get started getting out there and sort of ripping off the Band-Aid and getting going with their businesses. So in this space, do you guys have any thoughts, anything we could help you with even as well?
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go? For me, it's mostly around finding the balance with the amount of people I have in following with social media, and trying to now convert that into making these people clients without it also coming off like I just turned all my platforms into a daily commercial and then losing followers because now I'm a commercial. So it's like also giving them good information and showing up for them in that space that I've created, but at the same time trying to show up for myself and my business and convert clients.
I have to say I certainly follow that, Nicole. I have a couple of concerns in the same vein. My biggest concern is finding the time while I continue to work full time and then find time to see my clients and get those hours in. I'm excited to get credentialed. I've set a goal for myself, and I definitely need to make sure that I stay on top of my tasks, that I know what those tasks are, and that I look at those timelines every single day to make sure that I've done something toward launching my business. But then really what I need is just a really good dose of motivation and responsibility.
So I've got a question maybe for the both of you. What do you guys do when you just don't have that motivation or energy? I mean, you might have things to do during the day, and then you wake up and you're just like, I don't feel like it. Do you guys just take the day off, or do you guys have like methods or techniques personally to like sort of get yourselves going?
So for me, I know that Sunday and Monday are my like I have more time to myself days, and so I don't let myself make any excuses on Sundays and Mondays. So like I know one of those 2 days, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I'm going to make content that'll make me through the whole week. So I'll make 7 videos, I'll save them in my drafts, and then I have content for every day of the week. So when I do have a day where I don't feel like showing up on camera, I can at least post something and then work behind the scenes.
And so I look at it as if this is my job, then I'm going to do it. It's like waking up and not wanting to go to my full time job. I really don't have that choice. And so this is even more important than that because this is for me. It's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And I will absolutely be successful at it, but I have to do the work. And so I don't really need any extrinsic motivation other than to realize that it's a job I got to do.
Okay. What's popping up for me right here, potentially for both of you, is concept, particularly on social media, that Gary V put out probably 2 years ago. And the whole thing, none of us go to social media to be sold. We go to social media to build connections and get information, even if it's disinformation, but that's something else entirely. That his idea, he brings a boxing concept in of jab, 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 right hook, that go to use your social media to create awareness. And so the jab is a setup punch in boxing. You're kind of testing your opponent, and you come in for the knockout. So the jab is giving information, being a service, giving information, being of service, and then you come in with the, hey, I got a new program going, come buy from me. So I think it's about a 1-to-14 ratio. Be of service, develop relationships, and then throw out the idea that, hey, I've got an opening in my schedule. Who wants it? Without it being the hard sell of, well, what can we do to get you into that coaching today?
Yeah, I
Brooke,
like
you're
that.
muted. I'm also a little worried that that's the metaphor where we think of our potential clients as punching them in the face.
In the gut.
In the face.
I think too, though, it's the day of the hard sale. We've all wised up to that. I think that's a technique that, while it still exists, most people are very sort of keyed in to that. Like the moment we hear that or feel that, we get the skin crawlies, right? Like it just does not feel natural or like a space we want to be in. So I think Dan's point, it's very, very, that is a good. What we're doing right now, if we're just gonna be honest, right now we're giving information. We do this in an effort to see how we can help our alumni, our coaches, and those who want to be coaches. Is this used as a way for us to market? Absolutely it is, but we do it from a space of how can we help and how can we serve. And I think that in itself, coupled with some other techniques, that knowledge of what works, what doesn't, and things like that, can work greatly to your benefit, especially for you, Nicole, being in that space of not wanting to be that salesman at people. I do think, though, one thing you've just got to accept and move on is, no matter what you're doing, you have to ask. You have to at some point say, hey guys, I'm coaching now, come on over.
In those awareness posts, the sharing posts, how can you create that experience for your potential clients where they want to work with you and they come to say, Nicole, Jerry, I've seen everything you're doing and I want to be on that boat with you. I want to be there on this journey. Please come on board. Rather than a, hey, why come on over here? Make them come to you and want it.
For just to test the audience here, you guys and everybody, and also those of you watching, we are monitoring chats, we are monitoring comments. So if you want to share, if you have input, please feel free to share with us. We want to hear from you. We really do. Also, too, can you guys think of a moment when you just had that, like, I am being sold to, and this is gross, And would you be willing to share? You don't have to say the names. We don't have to get specific, but what that experience is, what that was like, and sort of as a way, a tool to say, maybe this is not the approach.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one as a coach, like someone reach out to me that was like, oh, we've seen what you do and we've like seen your content and we wanted to put you in our system for like top therapists and coaches in the DC area and like all this stuff. And of course, like me being new at it, but a content creator for a couple years, I was like, sure, like, that sounds great. And then he's like, yeah, I just want to interview you. And then we'd have that interview on our YouTube channel and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like, and this is what it costs. And I was like, so you want me to buy you to say that this is who I, and I was like, that was phony. Like, it just really upset me because it was such a scam kind of a situation. And so I don't know. I think if it was approached differently, I probably even would have considered the media aspect of it. But because it was sold to me as like, we found you and think you're awesome. And then I got excited and then it was like, no, just kidding. We just want your money.
Yeah, that's that authenticity piece, right?
Yeah.
That's that coming forward with that authentic foot and presenting yourself authentically, and they buried the lead there. They sort of played on your emotions, right? Got you excited, which then that's, I mean, so much more is the fall, right? When you find out that they want the money, your money, and it's like, oh God. Well, you got me excited and I felt good. And,
They could have at least offered like a partnership deal, like, oh, we'll track like how many people come to you and we'll get this percentage of the sales. That would seem a little more reasonable. They're just pretty much asking, hey, give me money and I'll advertise for you. And I'll just throw your name out there. But, that
not
always
something we intended to go down this road, but going down it, this is something that's very common with coaches, especially coaches starting out. Folks like Jiri and or Jiri, sorry, apologies,
No worries.
and Nicole, is that when they begin, I think that there's a lot of people out there that know it's a lot of people who want to help people that are scared about where to start. And what comes in is, Dan has a great article about this, is folks who just are looking to take advantage and having to monitor and walk through those areas can be kind of difficult. Juri, with regards to you and you getting started, I know you said that you said, were you in a federal space? Is that what?
I am. I currently am, with 2 more years to go.
Okay. So you're going to be doing the transition from one to the other, is what I'm hearing.
I am. Absolutely. And so I've set my timelines and my goals to certainly be credentialed by the time I retire in 2 years, and hopefully, well, no, not hopefully, beyond that. I will be beyond that. But I do plan on starting the business and certainly not having as many clients as I would like for the business. But I think just starting and building that business, and more importantly than the business, I think my self-esteem, right? My motivation, my encouragement in myself to know that I can do this, so that by the time I retire, I can certainly launch bigger.
I don't know if we asked this as well earlier, but for Juri and Nicole, who do you guys coach and what do you offer?
So I work with 98% women, mostly around self-love, self-value, getting motivated. Most of my clients are mothers that kind of just feel like they've lost themselves in motherhood and are trying to get a sense of who they are again. What was your second part of that question?
Amazing. I plan to focus on leadership counseling. That's what leadership coaching. What I've been doing for the last 20 years for sure is mentorship and leadership. But I want to do that with an aspect of wellness. And when I say wellness, I mean holistically, from the inside out, from a perspective of, if you take care of yourself top to bottom, then you would be surprised how much better you will be able to lead, and how those solution sets will come to you easier with a clear mind and some assistance in helping you solve any of those leadership difficulties.
That's awesome
I
to hear.
I love, by the way, love your niches, both of them. I love that they're specific as well. I was just thinking, I was waiting for Dan to come in on that one, because with the concept of being a whole human being is something I know that Dan is very passionate about. And so in full agreement there, actually, for both of you. Again, the amazing thing is when we get narrowed down with those niches and figure it out, we really start to figure out how we can help people within that space, and within what you guys are doing. What are your first steps? What are your plans?
So marketing wise, you mean? Like to find the clients?
Within
So-
the realm of coaching.
Yeah, I did hire a business coach. I did take that step also, just because as a coach, I feel like I want to live how I preach it. And so I wanted to have that experience with a business coach as well. And I have I have a lot of stuff. Like I have a podcast. I have like 300,000 followers on TikTok. I have like 37,000 followers on YouTube. So like I have these platforms. And then I published a self-love journal, guided journal. So my marketing stuff has been like mostly just on TikTok, because that's where my biggest platform is. So I create a theme of the week, and I do a video, like a tip day, and then one call to action, and then like just posts that are relatable to that, to my audience, and then around that topic. So anger, feeling like trapped in motherhood, losing yourself, just whatever it is for the week.
And what earlier when we spoke, and you had said your biggest concern is not wanting to do the salesy thing, right? Not wanting to do that going into. So how can we best help you with that in this space?
Well, when one of you said something about the one out of every 14, I think, right? Yeah. Okay. So that was helpful, because I'm feeling like it's too much right now. Like I'm doing one call to action a week. So like every Monday is a call to action. And I'm trying to do it very just strategic, where it's like I share a personal story about like why I became a coach and like how I resonate. And if this resonates with you, then you can book a call with me, and the link is in the bio. So I do it in a way that's like sincere. But also I feel like maybe once a week is too frequent for me. Like I just feel like sometimes they only see one of your videos a week because of the way the algorithm is. And I'm like, is this too much or not enough? It's like finding that balance.
Can I offer an idea of maybe shifting that call to action?
Mm-hmm.
And it shifts to exactly what Brooke said. It's not if you need service, go to the link. It's how can I help you?
Okay.
Make it invitational.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the marketer in me says every single post should have a call to action, every single one. But there are different levels of aggression within the call to action. Or it's also too, sometimes the call to actions can be like Dan said, how can I help you? More of this space of it's inviting, and it's inviting that interaction. It's inviting that that conversation to start. And what you'll find really, I think, is as you're doing this in your social media, you're gonna get less conversions from the contact me directly, this kind of thing. What will happen is when you start to have conversations with people, so when you invite that conversation to open up, that's where it'll start to happen more naturally, and it'll be a space of you hearing and you listening, and then you saying, I offer services to help with this kind of thing. Also too, you can build out secondary calls to action based around, so if you post a TikTok video, maybe there's a tool or a technique that is on your website that will get them to you, that will help them then explore, and you're not hitting them over the head with it, right? But it's a way to get them to move from the TikTok platform down the funnel to your website and to you, and closer to you. Although TikTok's a direct route as well. just depends on how you want to work your funnel as well.
Yeah, I think that because I've been doing the call to actions for the last 3 weeks, and I've been using the same thing. So you're making me feel also like I should just mix it up. I just know that it takes a little bit of time to see the results, and like I'm watching my Beacons account to see like, okay, I posted this video on Monday, how many people clicked on my links, how many, like I think that first week 45 people clicked on the website, 3 actually booked a call. So it's not like
bad, actually. That's a pretty decent.
that was a good week for me, and
Mhm.
that got me real excited. But then out of those 3, no one has actually signed up for services. And the other clients I have are mostly from TikTok, but before I started doing call to actions. So like I did a video where I like mentioned somebody else made a video about their self-esteem, and I like stitched it, if you know what that is, and then I said like, as a life coach, like here's what I would offer you, like this is the advice I would say to you, and talk to you about this. And then people were like, I didn't realize you were a life coach, and then scheduled a call with me.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I just need to, it sounds like I need to mix up, instead of saying book a call on all of them. I do have like the first 8 pages of my love journal is like a PDF if you join my mailing list. So like I can do that as a call to action versus just saying book a call with me. There's also like free phone screensavers that are motivational, like silly little things on the website. So, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Dan.
I have a question there too. I just heard mailing list.
Mhm.
How are you mining the mailing list? Because those are warm leads already. They've dropped into the funnel.
So
What are you
I
doing
just
there
got
rather
it
than?
started.
Okay.
I have 25 people on my mailing list since I've started it this month. So I think it's pretty good for like it all being genuine people going and signing up. But I think it's because I did the free couple pages of the journal. I think that was a smart move to have some kind of like, you get a free download immediately if you sign up for my mailing list.
Send a message out thanking them all for signing up, and then asking, hey, I'm putting this special thing together, introductory package, whatever you want to call it. It's for you. Come on in.
What you'll find too is the mailing list, and this is tried and true. Every kind of marketing that exists out there, and there's a ton of it. No matter what people have come up with, mailing list is the highest level of conversion. It is exponentially. You are exponentially more likely to convert people from your email lists than you are from anywhere else out there. That is just the case. I would say maybe secondary to that would be paid advertising, but even then, it's usually going through to a mailing list kind of situation. And that's because when you've gotten that invitation, when somebody said, I'm now allowing you into my mailing list, and this is okay, that shows you how open they are to you and hearing more about your services. So it's a gold mine. I noticed too that we had a comment that I would love to connect with Jury. I believe that you have fans already.
Say that last part again.
Oh, so did you? It said, I would love to connect with Jury. I believe we would benefit mutually from a conversation. I also work in the federal workspace, although my coaching business is not.
Absolutely. You are welcome to reach out to me at jurycrowder@gmail.com.
Also, when the blog is written for all this, I'm going to plug all of your guys' stuff, link to all your guys' stuff if I can get it. I found your TikTok as well, Nicole. I'll look at that later.
Enjoy. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, but I guess the same question to Jury as well. What are your first steps, and how are you sort of transitioning? What does that process look like?
So I'm just going to sit here and listen to Nicole.
No.
She definitely is just leaps and bounds. I'm so impressed by that. I'm just getting started. And so I worked with a consultant called Do the Work. And within 10 days, I had my business plan laid out, my LLC applied for, my BBA named. I think those names were the hardest part, as well as building a website, and then just listing all the steps I need to take to move forward. I am looking at just different ways to really just put my name out there without having a conflict with my present job. I do a lot of mentorship that is really coaching. And so I mentor a lot of people who will want to continue, which is great. But of course, I need that, those 90 paid coaching sessions. And so I think we'll be able to work something out. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem finding clients who are willing to be coached um, at this juncture, at this part of it. I do want to go beyond federal service. And because leadership and wellness, that's about everything, right? We are all leaders. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. People hear leadership and they think in charge of an organization, and that's not the case. Parents are leaders, childcare providers are leaders. We are all leaders, and all of us can benefit from that wellness piece. And so I am really wanting my platform to go larger than just the textbook definition we think of leadership.
So, what are your fears in that space? More specifically,
Time really, Brooke. That's my biggest fear. I work a lot of hours in 1 week, and there are not a lot of hours left. Certainly at the end of the work week, and I don't know how many hours I want to put in on the weekends. So I'm going to have to figure that out. That is my absolute biggest concern right now.
what can you do to alleviate that concern?
I think I'm just going to stop sleeping and then just be available to myself 24/7. Really, at this point, I have started setting my calendars, looking at where I can carve in that space around business trips, around long days. And this doesn't feel like work for me. And so that's the biggest difference. At the end of my 10, 11, 12-hour day, I'm exhausted until it comes to have an opportunity to do this. And then it doesn't really matter how long I've worked, Brooke. I can work literally a 12, 14-hour day. Somebody need mentorship, and I'm there for them at 8 or 9 o'clock. And now the difference will be I will have an opportunity to schedule those, as well as carve out some time on the weekends to do that.
So as you're sharing, what I'm hearing is well, I can carve out time. I love doing this, even if I've worked a 14-hour day. This is a passion. So in all of that space, I'm not hearing where the concern is coming from.
I don't know that I have a real concern. I really don't. I know that if I can make time to get up in the mornings to work out before going to work, and I don't want to do that, I can certainly make time for something that I do want to do.
Applauding
so
you there.
Really, I'm sorry, say that again, Brooke.
I said applauding you there. A huge applause.
Oh, thank you. And so I really, at this point, don't have concerns, or maybe I'm just too much in the honeymoon phase to really realize what those concerns are.
Dan, I'm turning to you in this moment. I feel like you have something.
Yeah, it's floating right below the surface right now.
Mm-hmm.
The passion is there, the focus is there. There's it's funny, I just had this conversation with somebody earlier this afternoon around finding time or making time, because we don't make time. It's there. It's choosing. The time already exists. So to say, and this kind of becomes a gut check question in some ways, to say yes to this, what do you need to say no to? Or to say yes to some compartment of time that builds you forward, what do you start to need to say no to?
I will say no to vegging, really. Dan, what I do oftentimes is I come home and I sit in silence and I don't do anything. I don't watch TV. I don't read. I do nothing for about 2 hours every night. I just sit in the silence, and I will start filling up those silent hours with this passion that is driving me, at least for now.
I love hearing the I wills too. The not I hope to, I wills. Sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to interrupt.
We learned that. We learned that this weekend. Didn't we?
Good students. Good students. There's something else I'm sensing here in the space in this particular segment of the conversation. There's the shift from the 2 hours of vegging into the 2 hours of intention. And I'm also sensing that it's not like an A to B, that there's a both and here. And what do you need to retain from that 2 hours of vegging that also recharges you to move you forward when you're using the time differently?
Right. I definitely have an intention to veg, right, for the first hour that I get off of my computer all day. And after literally 6 to 12 Zoom meetings a day, the last thing I ever want to do when I get home is talk to anybody, let alone a Zoom. But again, if somebody says, "Oh, Jeree, I need to talk about something," I'm there and I forget that I'm tired and that I am energized from that. So I really don't think I'll be giving up anything except to take the time that I need to really wind down at the end of my day. And I will definitely do that. I won't leave work and go into a coaching session. I will have that time. And right now I think it's an hour, but I'm not sure. I will have to play with that. And as far as when I heard Brooke say, well, it doesn't sound like you have any fears. I have a lot of fears about the coaching aspect of it. But as far as launching the business, I'm telling you that consultant just really was worth every single penny, because I wouldn't be here without that direction. In level 1, they started talking about the business, and I'm sure everybody heard my heartbeat on the Zoom. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this. I haven't thought about this part. And so, between level 1 and level 2, when I took them back to back, here I am. I'm ready.
First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge that I'm ready. That's awesome. That is not failing to launch. That is I'm ready. That is amazing. Second, I want you to share that please, with our folks, with our alumni, with people, that consultant that you use, please, because always the more tools we can give, the better. And then third, I want to point out an unexpected side effect of coaching that is often not shared with people, that was kind of touched on in this. And I've noticed it as well myself, is this when I can go into a coaching session and I can be having the worst day beforehand, or and I get in there and it's amazing how when I come out of it, I'm like a whole different person. It's it can be the best, selfishly. Now this is completely selfish, but attitude adjuster, perspective giver. It's just the unexpected side effect of being a coach is that it can help so much with you personally. Just with, if it's just a matter of pushing out your own issues and being able to focus on something else, it makes everything when you come back into real life seem like not such a big deal. So
I don't, giving my 2 cents as a new coach, and I don't know, Jerome, if you feel the same way, but going into that coaching session, it's usually blocked in the middle of my workday too. And it's mostly thinking about what do I have to do? 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 And before that coaching session hits, it seems like that coaching session is that's another thing I got to do today. But once I'm in the session, then it's just like, I don't have to think about what I have to do anymore. I'm talking to someone else and working with them. And it completely is just like is a reset switch for my brain. That's my personal feelings on it. Jerome, I know you've also been doing some coaching as well.
Yeah, I would agree. As a relatively new active coach, it feels as though time kind of just stops. And in that moment, the only thing that matters is you and your client. And it's really, as Brooke is mentioning, it's a therapeutic moment. Stepping out of that session, it does make everything that may have happened that day kind of seem a bit more minuscule, because again, that's just one real interaction that you're there and listening for an hour straight, and everything kind of just seems to, for me, come to a pause, and your thoughts kind of, you have a moment to collect those thoughts in that moment as well. And that interaction is just beautiful.
And so that was touched on. Drew. Now, Dan, you are you or Lisa are the most seasoned coaches on this panel for sure. Does that still happen?
When I looked at my calendar today, go ahead, Lisa. Go ahead.
I would say absolutely. Absolutely. I'm working with some people and I'm looking forward to getting there. I know, like we've all talked about, we've got work, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then we pause for a moment and like, it's coaching. It's still exciting. It's still fun. It's still in the moment. That's our passion for connecting with other people and finding the space where they're finding their growth or whatever it is they're working towards. How beautiful is that? How exciting is to find and be part of that journey. I don't know how it wouldn't be. Anyway, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, when I looked at my calendar today, I do my best to keep my coaching hours and my interaction hours to about 4 to 5 a day. 'Cause if I get past 5, it really can be draining. And looked at my calendar today, and I was booked from 8:30 till 7:30 tonight with like small half-hour breaks between. I still have 2 hours to go after we wrap this.
Yeah.
But looking back on the day, it's like, I feel awesome. This is wonderful. So there's like that initial, I'm looking at it and I keep seeing the boulder of Sisyphus behind Anthony's head.
I know.
In the morning, it felt like I was pushing the boulder uphill, and today I'm like, it's a pebble. I'm good now. The day's over.
It's a different kind of tired, from that drudgery of your day-to-day 9 to 5 kind of everyday kind of work that some of, I think Nicole and, everyone talks about, and Jerry. It's a different kind of tired that you get in that space. It's not tired in the session, right? It's like,
it's like getting tired after a good workout.
Okay, well, I don't like to work out, so that one. But yeah, it would be in that sense, that connection to self, connection to others, connection, that adrenaline rush that one gets from working out. I would assume, and that tired you get, it's just because you've been awake so long, not because the work is exhausting. And that's the important piece of recognizing when you're coaching, not taking ownership of what the client's going through. So that's the fun side of it, but we still have the business side of it. This business side is what we're talking about. The business side can be daunting when you're an entrepreneur and you're not used to being an entrepreneur. You're working all the time. You are not stopping, because it's 5 o'clock. You are extended hours. You are early hours. You are, at some point there is a transition once you get your business launched. But until that happens, there's a lot of work. It just, as I was saying that aloud, I'm thinking, imagine you bought a new house, and before you move into that new house, you got to paint it. You got to replace the carpet. You got to, you got to fix the cabinets. So there's a lot of to-do works, and that's the same thing.
So I take it it's not a new house.
Even in new houses, you have to do things. Even in new houses, there are different things that they don't include that now you want to include for when you're move-in ready. So the idea is to own entrepreneurship, pull up your bootstraps, as that saying goes, and just plug along, do something every single day. If you do not, that day that you took a break, That's going to build to another day. I need some more time. I'm just really tired. You've got to keep plugging along until you get to that space where you have a little more balance, that you're not building. You have a little more balance, that you've got enough clients. You still continually have to grow, and you still continually have to feed the beast of marketing. You have to still continue to do that, but it becomes a little less daunting the more time and more effort you do in that front space. It starts to balance out. Anyway.
I think there's a scale, and Jury, both of you have done this. You've hired a business coach. Jury has she hired a consultant. You both have asked for help as well,
Absolutely.
which is a good thing. One of the things that I always say is, so if you do it all yourself, if you DIY it, think about time and money. So if this is time and money, so if you're doing it yourself, your money's going to be down here, your time is going to be up here, right? But if you spend money to ask for help, what'll happen is you'll get a little bit more closer together, a little bit usually, as long as you're getting the right help.
Absolutely, Brooke. And so I thought I was speaking over someone, sorry. And I am going to have to log off so that I can get ready for a coaching session. But before I go, I cannot put it in the chat. If somebody would put this in the chat for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Do the Work, DUE, thework.com. That is the consultant that I used. And I certainly recommend that you check her out, but also just exactly what Brooke said, paying a little bit more now can pay such dividends later. And certainly that is the one thing that I considered. And so thank you very much for this opportunity, Dan and Brooke. I really appreciate it. And I certainly wish all of us luck. Nicole, you are a rock star.
No, you are. Stop.
Thank you for being here, Jury. And by the way,
Thank you so much.
Beautiful smile.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Brooke.
It's infectious.
Can I add to what we're talking about?
Absolutely not. No.
I think that talking about putting the work in, that made a lot of sense for me, Lisa, as far as buying a new house, because I definitely have been struggling with that. I had this false expectation of my business being super successful right away because I have a huge following. And I was like, I have 300,000 followers. It's not going to be a problem for me to get a couple clients. And it is because that's not who they are. They want my free content. They resonate with me, but that doesn't mean they're ready to invest. So I think that was discouraging for me. And then I realized how much work I was actually going to have to put in. And because we're people that like to be connected to other people, right? Typically as a coach, I think the problem is the behind the scenes work does feel more like work. So we're in this cycle of trying to stay motivated and do the hard work and then getting discouraged because we're not seeing the results quick. And then trying to remind ourselves it takes time, and then also try to push away that imposter syndrome of well, maybe I'm not good enough. Why aren't they hiring me? Maybe I thought I was better than I actually am. And then, and then it's just this vicious cycle of trying to self-motivate yourself and get that work done.
Amazing point you bring up. In the span of a 1 week work week, right? If we look at the work week, 40 hours a week, most coaches are probably not coaching those 40 hours, all 40. What they're coaching a much smaller percentage. And what I guess people don't often realize is they're living for those sessions, right? They're living through those sessions and getting to those sessions to get through the rest of their work week, essentially, whatever that may be. And you bring up a great point is that even when you have followers, when you have there's a big difference between paying followers and non-paying followers. And so you learn that lesson pretty quick. But how do you push yourself? How do you push yourself through those moments, those imposter syndrome moments, those moments when you aren't seeing clients and you're scared that they're not going to come through the door?
Well, I guess for me, the big thing is reminding myself that the reason I decided to do this is because I know I can help people. And I know that this is what I was meant to do. And so it doesn't matter if I'm not reaching the right people the right way yet. I'm working on how to figure that out. It's not a reflection of who I am as a coach. it's just a reflection of like me trying to find the right clients, because not everybody is going to be the right. And I'm definitely a like words of like love over here. So like for me, I remind myself of things my clients have said to me. You know, like I worked with therapists and client and coaches for years, and nobody has ever gotten me to see my side of things as much as you have in a month, right? Like this is what people are telling me. And so I remind myself of that in those moments of like, I am helping people.
Can we
Dan
spin a
looks like, yeah. Oh, I
can
was
we
about to
spin
say,
a metaphor here really quick?
That idea is great.
Yeah. I love the house metaphor that Lisa brought in earlier. So level two toolbox stuff, everybody, coaching metaphors. Let's change the metaphor here. There's clients out there who are starving to work with you right now.
Mhm.
How do you create like the sampler meal that they can get a sense of what it's like to be with you in that space, that they say, I want the full on 7-course meal?
Mhm.
So one thing I've been trying to do with that is dedicating one night a week that I do a live. And that's been hard for me. Like I have 3 kids and a grandchild that live with me. Yeah, I'm a grandma. Can you believe it? So it's hard to find the time, but Friday nights I'm trying to do a live, and that gives me that space where they can comment and I can respond and like ask the right questions. And I do it in the comment section a lot too. And that I've started doing that over the last 2 weeks, and I feel like that's helping build that space for sure. But you know, sometimes you do a live and there's like 10 people in there, but again, I'm trying to stay in the headspace of I need one of those 10 people to resonate with me right now, and that's okay. And maybe it won't be on this live, maybe it'll be on the next one, but like, you know, you just really need to feel a connection with one of those 10 people. It doesn't matter if it's 10 or 40 or 100. I need to stop looking at the number, and that's hard when you have a large account.
What
right?
if
Like
instead of putting out information, you invited someone to the live for an experience?
Yeah, I've thought about that, and I think that whole imposter syndrome is stopping me from doing that for sure, because that feels scary because I don't know what to anticipate, which is silly because I'm fine doing coaching calls, right? Even if it's a first call with a person. So it's not any different, but having an audience around that experience feels like what if other people don't agree with the way the conversation is going, and what if they think it's stupid, and like I
So,
know it's
what if all those things, though?
remember when Dan was talking about punching our clients in the face or something like that?
That is not what I said.
That's pretty
Hey,
much what
no,
Dan
Anthony, that was you.
That's why I wear these big rings, right?
nice. I know to stay away from you.
They're positive energy. They're positive energy.
What if those things were to happen? Really, ultimately, what if they happen? Assume that they do happen. What's worst case scenario?
I'd lose a couple followers,
And
which I do every week anyway. Like, you know, because with social media, it's like sometimes I'll have a week where I've lost 200 followers, and sometimes I'll have a week where I've gained 5,000. It fluctuates like that.
So you lose a couple followers, but what's the other side of that?
I may have gained a couple clients.
You may have gained also 500 different followers too.
Yeah.
Also, I think you're starting to gain followers in the comments as well. People want to know your IG handle.
only because you guys want to see what to do on yours. No, I'm just teasing. Well, Instagram is not very big for me, but it's the Hennessy's house with like plural, like the Hennessy's, because Hennessy is my last name, house.
Mhm.
And it's Nicole Hennessy and then the number 2 on TikTok.
So there you go. We got 2 people.
But
because
I am entertaining, I think. So there's that.
I think though that we sort of glossed over in that moment where she said worst case scenario, she loses a couple of followers. Best case scenario, or not even best, other end of the spectrum, I think that there's probably even better things that we're not considering right now. But she said I gain a couple clients, and so what's the value of a couple clients versus the value of a couple followers?
Yeah, obviously the value of the clients is better because that's the ultimate goal here too, right? Is creating a, like my thing with the social media is like creating a space where people don't feel judged, where they feel safe, where they feel like they're getting valuable information, and I'm motivating people to better themselves. And in the same side of that is hoping that some of them will decide they want to do some deeper digging and deeper work, and they'll hire me as a coach. So I'm touching people irregardless, and that feels good for me on a personal level, right? Like the work I want to do. And then obviously on a financial and building a business level, I want those clients. So I think that, yeah, I think I just need to do it, I guess.
And in
So,
the grand scheme, you just gained a couple of followers. So if you lose a couple, you're net net.
There you go.
well, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to doing some of videos like this? Curious.
Very committed. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's why I decided to invest in a business coach. Is I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And that obviously does mean kind of switching over what my content is. And I've decided that I have to be okay with that. And I'm going to have to let go of followers. So I've already accepted that part of it, but I guess I didn't accept it on the live aspect because that just feels a little more vulnerable. I can't edit, you know? But this is live and I'm doing this. Hey guys.
Yep.
So
See, it's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Yeah, exactly. Well, and the one thing to consider too with live, people are far more forgiving. They're so much more forgiving, especially in this space. I think on TikTok they're pretty forgiving anyways. But here in this space, they're I mean, with the live, the expectation is definitely not as high as it would be if with produced content.
If they're not forgiving, we'll report them or something.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to mention, because I know we're running out of time, is you brought up a great point too about how you repeat to yourself the things that clients have said to you, the good things, those moments, those you know, that to motivate you, to push you through, to keep you going, right? And I think that is just a nugget of kind of very wonderful wisdom or thing. And it brought me to, you said you have a journal. The concept of doing sort of like a reminder journal, like this is something you can look at, or vision board, or that has those notes. If for the people who are visual, for people who are whatever you need to remind yourself in those moments, and have that resonate with you to push you through those harder times, those times when it's grueling and you'd feel like clients are coming through the door. I thought that was brilliant that you repeat to yourself, I know I can help people. Because there are people out there that I think coaches, which we'll have to tackle a different day, that the imposter syndrome sometimes makes them forget that they can in fact help others. So
I also keep
Dan,
sticky notes on my computer with affirmations, like that are personalized to like what I need to remind myself of. I think tool too.
well, and Dan, I would like how Dan put it too. There's somebody out there. What was it, exact words? That is starving to work with you, starving to. They're dying.
Yeah.
Dan works with dead people because they're dying to work with them. And that's something to remember. It's just that you haven't found them yet, and you got to figure out how to find them, how to get to them, how to tap in there. Final thoughts, guys.
I want to say, just because we kind of touched on it just a second, that reminder is really important. I think one of my clients actually that I'm coaching with at the moment, that's something that she came up with was just a phrase, because sometimes she finds herself kind of getting a little too inside of her head at moments prior to actually beginning a task. Also working on failure to launch, starting her business. So she just reminds herself, just do the darn thing is what her phrase is. So whenever she finds herself stuck, that's kind of what she finds herself saying out loud. I'm excited to check in with her and see how that's going for her, but that's what she conjured up. So that reminder, very important.
I guess
Anybody
my only
can?
final thing would be is reminding myself that if I, I'm only going to fail if I quit trying. So I have to keep pushing and trying things on. And the second I stop doing that is the second I actually fail.
I guess my final thoughts would be as well. This is kind of spurred by previous sessions I've had as a coach as well, but the general trends that I'm seeing with new coaches, start owning that you're a coach now, because when you say, "Oh, I'm going to be a coach" or "I will be a coach," it makes it very easy for you to not even start. But if you start owning the fact that you are a coach, you've taken the classes, you are doing this right now, then it begins to put you in the mindset, oh crap, I got to start doing stuff now. Then I'm a coach. Let's, get this ball rolling. Not this one, but the ball
Yeah.
rolling.
Dan, I know you put something up similar to kind of what Anthony is speaking about over the weekend. Yep.
Yeah, it's getting into that space of imagining the successful you and what they'd be doing and where they are in that moment. And the meme I put out on Friday or Saturday was, be the person who's already done it, and you will be the person who does it. That doing of the darn thing, we can do moving forward from the space of sometimes the limitation, the imposter, and it brings that energy into the doing. But if we do take our actions from the success and bring that back of what would that successful person be doing right now? How would they handle the time and space, and what would be the actions that they'd be taking? It's going to go that much faster.
There's a phrase that I've subscribed or ascribed to for a long time, and it's be the change you want to see in the world. It's very be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, be the change that you want to see in yourself. It's sort of what I am now gleaning from this conversation. Lisa.
So I'm tapping into the word choices of imposter, that imposter syndrome. Use that to empower you. Word choices, thought concepts, those kinds of things. We have a tendency to let it be the power that prevents us from going forward. Use those terms, those ideas, to propel you forward, not to propel you in imposter, but to allow you to go, yeah, and do the and piece of all of that. Yeah, and I am a coach. I've been trained. Yes, and keep the dialogue, I guess, Nicole, you said positive affirmations earlier. Keep that in that place where you're taking ownership and letting it prompt you to move forward versus fall down and not get up.
Nick wanted to say hi.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
We're gonna wrap it up right now. We got everybody. Dan, thank you so much for being here. Nicole, thank you so much for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm gonna check out your TikTok for sure. Like if she shakes her head, she's like, "Oh God, don't do it." I think there's a metaphor coming that has been kind of brewing as we're talking about this. When we're talking about doing and being and all these things, if you take something as simple as getting dressed during the day, right? We know how to put on a shirt and there might be days where we can't find something we want to wear. There might be days but at the end of the day, we're going to reach in there and we're going to grab something, we're going to put it on, and we're going to start our day. It's such a simple metaphor, but you can apply it to business and marketing, and your coaching business is you have a whole wardrobe of tools and things that you can use, and it's just a matter of picking one out, putting it on, and trying it out for the day, and just getting it out there, putting it on and using it. But don't overthink it too much. It's just clothes.
I work from home, so I just work nude.
Now we all know you don't have pants on.
So now everybody thinks he's got no pants on. That's what we all.
Don't stand up.
This shirt is just a green screen right here.
But thank you to everybody out there watching. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for this wonderful discussion. next week, I believe, let me just check really quick. Our topic next week is actually going to be a similar, in a close and similar vein. It's going to be about making the transition from your day-to-day life, your day-to-day job, that into coaching, and how to sort of do that. And we're going to get into some of the tools with how to do that. And then the following week, we're going to talk a little bit about niching as well. So join us next week for all of that good stuff. And if you like the video, make sure you share, like, comment, all of that. And check out Certified Life Coach Institute. And that's all. Did I forget anything, Jerome?
That was perfect.
No,
We'll see you
take our
guys
classes too.
What about certifying coaches in 3 days?
Yeah.
We do that.
We did that too.
You too could learn from Dan or Lisa.
But not the rest of us.
No, we're not facilitators, but you could.
Alrighty, that's all, I think. You want to sign off?
See you guys
Jerome?
next week. Yep. See you guys next week, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Once again, this is brought to you by Certified Life Coach Institute. We're an ICF accredited school who certifies our life coaches in 3-day online intensive courses. In addition to other podcast episodes, feel free to check us out every Tuesday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or Facebook for our CLCI Lives, where we get together and discuss various topics that are centered around sharpening your skills so you can become a better certified life coach. For more information, feel free to visit us at certifiedlifecoachinstitute.com. Until next time, be well.